Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Let's begin. Chapter 11, Fire Nation, Konoha. As the delegation from Sadala were shown their hotel and rooms for their stay at Konoha, which was split into 3 rooms with Naruto and Sota sharing a room together, while Khalifa, Mais and Natsumi were sharing another room, while Sora, Yusuko and Aikika were in another. As Mais settled into her room, a shinobi appeared beside her, surprising Khalifa but not Mais nor Nat, as they knew they would appear. Just before Khalifa could respond, her mother put her finger to her lip to tell to be quiet. Nat, do you think? Mais is getting a nod from Nat as several seals immediately spread forth from her and engulfed the room before disappearing. Alright, that should keep the leaf from spying on us even with their Byakugan, all except for our forces whose mask allow them to see what's going, Nat said as she took a seat on the bed. General, as requested, we have set up a security perimeter around the hotel and have already detected several teams of Leaf Anbu watching the place in the shadows in several buildings next to us, Sadala's shinobi said. Good, have they detected your teams so far? Mais said, getting a negative response from the shinobi. Stay in the shadows for now and be careful. Now that we're here, we can expect more eyes watching us, some from the Hokage, others from someone else, Mais said. Understood, General, Shinobi said as he disappeared. Okay, is it all right to talk now? Khalifa said, getting a nod from her mother. I thought we were supposed to bring only 3 bodyguards. Why is there a team from Sadala with us? But then again, we did only bring 2 bodyguards with us and your advisor, Khalifa said. We're in a shinobi village, my dear, that we haven't became allies yet, and 2 of our party members are from the Hyuga clan, who I'm certain that the clan in this village will try to put a seal on them. Granted, they can try, and I'm sure Sota and Sora will have fun when they do attempt to do something, but our shinobi teams are here in case a certain person does something that would jeopardize our friendship that we are trying to make here. Mais said. And who's that? Khalifa said. His name is Danzo Shimura, and from what our friend Tsunade said about him is that he should never be trusted at all, Mais said. Why's that? Khalifa said. Because Danzo is a man who has his own personal army of shinobi that only obeys him and not the Hokage, has committed numerous war crimes, and yet the evidence to bring him to justice is never there, Nat said with anger in her eyes as she remembered what Danzo tried to do during the war. Flashback. Uzushio, final days of the war. Brother, our people are ready to leave and Sadala's people have arrived to help us, Nat said as she was in the main hall of their home wearing battle armor, hearing explosions outside. Good, a team from Konoha have just arrived a few hours ago, Menma said as he stood next to his sister with anger in his eyes, as their nation and home were burning down to the ground by other nations who wanted their sealing secrets. Despite Uzushio giving it away, the other nations wanted it for themselves. Have they been told about Sadala? Nat said. No. And I'm beginning to think that the force from Konoha aren't here to help us, Menma said. Why would you think that, brother? We're allies, friends, why else would they be here then? Nat said. We will find out very soon, Menma said as the door to the main hall opened, revealing some battle-weary Uzumakis who were dragging someone. Right on time. Ken, what did you find from our friend? Menma said. Lord Menma, sir, at first we discovered a seal on the Leaf Shinobi that prevented them from answering our questions, Ken said before Nat interrupted him. Brother, did you torture him? Nat said, getting a nod from her brother before looking at the Leaf captive. Why? Nat asked. When they arrived, they immediately went straight to our vaults where we keep our sealing knowledge, killing several of forces once they were discovered, but we managed to fight back, killing all of them except this one, Menma said, getting a look of shock from Nat, who immediately turned to look at the Leaf captive. Why would you do that? We're allies, aren't we? Nat asked but got no response from the captive. Ken, resume what you were going to tell us, Menma asked. Sir, the seal we've discovered would have killed him if he told us what his objective was or tell us anything else. Definitely not how the leaf works, sir, Ken said. Did you remove the seal? Menma said, getting nod from Ken. We also placed an honesty seal on him and we're about to activate, but thought you would want to talk him first, sir, Ken said. Thank you, Ken. Please activate the seal, Menma said, getting Ken to go through several hand signs before saying, Kai. As the seals on the captive glowed, there was a small scream before nothing and dull eyes void of any emotion. Alright Leaf Shinobi, let's start with something easy. Who sent you? Menma said. Lord Danzo sent me, the captive said, getting a puzzled look from the Uzumakis. Who is this Lord Danzo? Menma said. Lord Danzo Shimura is an elder of the Hidden Leaf, the captive said, getting a puzzled look from Menma. Does your Hokage know that Danzo sent you? Menma said. No, he does not, captive said. Why is that? Menma said. Because Lord Danzo thinks the Hokage is a fool, captive said. In that case then Danzo has gone rogue. What was your orders? Nat said. My orders were to infiltrate Uzushio and steal all the sealing knowledge you have hidden in your vaults and kill any who gets in our way, and to cover our tracks with explosives so that anyone who finds this place assume it was destroyed during the war, the captive said. Damn him, does Danzo not really care about Konoha's allies? Nat said. No, he does not. Lord Danzo only cares that Konoha is the dominate power and no one else, the captive said, getting angry looks from the Uzumakis. That's it, kill him, Menma said, getting a nod from Ken, who stabbed the captive in the heart with his sword. Sir, what are your orders? Ken said. We have Sadala's forces getting our people somewhere safe, and our home will soon be overrun in a few hours, Menma said as he was thinking, but in the end he took a deep breath. Nat, Menma said, getting his sister's attention. I want you to lead what remains of our clan in Sadala, Menma said, getting a worried look from Nat. What are you up, Menma? I know that look, Nat said. I'm staying here for one finally assault to cover you retreat, Menma said before turned to his fellow clansmen. Fellow Uzumakis, I am not issuing an order, but if you want to live then go with the our people to Sadala, I won't stop you, Menma said before taking a deep breath. But if you want to stay and fight to the bitter end, then let's show these bastards why a seal master is to be feared. Menma said, getting shouts from his men as he turned to his sister with tears down her face, and she gave him one last hug before running to join what was left of the Uzumakis. For Uzushigakure, Menma shouted one last time with his men before running to face the enemy one last time. Flashback ends. If that bastard tries anything, I will end him, Mais, even if it costs us this alliance, Nat said, looking at her friend. If Danzo does try something, I'm on your side, Nat, and besides, from our intel, that bastard has it coming anyway, Mais said as she got up and went over to Khalifa. Nat, can you go and place seals in the other rooms as well? Mais said, getting a nod from Nat, who left the room. Once Nat returns, you and Naruto can go sightseeing. Alright sweetie, and don't worry about being alone, there's 2 teams from Sadala in Konoha with orders to watch us, Mais said. Geez, they call themselves one of the 5 great nations and yet we managed to bring in 2 shinobi teams right under their noses, Khalifa said, getting a small laugh from her mother. Outside the hotel, in the alleyways in front of the hotel, 2 Anbu whose job is to watch over the foreign delegation while they are in the village were surprised as the room that one of them was watching became blank. What the? Eagle said with surprise. What happened? Boar 2 said. I don't what happened, but I can't see the room, Eagle 1 said. What do you mean you can't see the room? Boar 2 said. I mean I can't see the room with my Byakugan, it's completely gone, Eagle said. What happened before you lost the room? Boar said. I was watching the room with the general, her daughter and the Uzumaki before a small flicker of chakra came into the room and then the Uzumaki pulsed her chakra and the room went dark, Eagle said as Boar listened to what he said. Wait, the Uzumaki is leaving the room and is heading to one of the other rooms. Damn, that's another room I can't see, Eagle said, but Boar quickly knew what was happening. The Uzumaki is a seal master and is going to their rooms and placing seals to stop us from looking in. You mentioned a flicker of chakra entering the room. Yes, Boar said, getting a nod from Eagle. Inform the Hokage about what is going and tell him that the delegation may have sneaked in their shinobi into the village, Boar said, getting a nod from Eagle, who shunshin away. Damn it, how did they sneak in? We're a shinobi village, it should not have been that easy, Boar thought to himself, hoping it was just the one shinobi and not a team. Hokage's office. As Minato was back doing paperwork with his shadow clones, Eagle shunshin into the office, getting Minato's attention. Lord Hokage, forgive the intrusion, but a matter has come up regarding the delegation, Eagle said. What seems to be the matter? Minato asked. Sir, as I watched them enter their rooms there was a flicker of chakra that entered the room before the Uzumaki used her sealing arts to hide the room from my Byakugan. Afterwards the Uzumaki went to the others and proceeded to do the same. Lord Hokage, I believe they may have sneaked in one of the shinobis into the village. Eagle said, letting Minato to think on what he just heard before a small smile appeared on his face. Mais, you little sneak, you brought a team of shinobi into my village obviously because Tsunade warned you about Danzo, but is it the one team or more? That's the question. Minato said, getting a slight shock from Eagle. Sir, do you really think they brought a team or two into the village? Though I understand the reason if they're here in case Elder Danzo tries something, Eagle said. I believe so. From what Tsunade said, they tried to get their hands on our clan's secrets before but were too guarded, and considering they want this alliance, but then again Kumo did the same thing and look how that ended up. No, I believe their shinobi are here to protect them in case Danzo interferes. In the meantime, keep a close eye on the surrounding buildings and shadows for anything out of the ordinary, but remember they could be Danzo's root or Sadala's shinobi. I'll meet up with General Mais and let know her we know about her protection, and hopefully their teams and ours can coordinate together to provide a better protection detail and, hopefully, tells us how they got into the village. Dismissed. Minato said with a sigh. Hyuga clan residence. In the main courtyard of the Hyuga residence stood Lord Hiashi of the Hyuga clan as well as the elders and their caretakers. After receiving word from Anbu Cat that the Sadala delegation had arrived and that two of them were from the Hyuga across the ocean, Hiashi knew why Minato informed him. Hiashi immediately sent word around the clan asking for the elders to meet in the courtyard so that he can personnel tell them not to interfere. Hiashi cared to explain why you have summoned us, one of the elders asked. I have brought yous all here because I have just been informed that the delegation from Sadala have arrived and that two of them are from the Hyuga clan. They are Sora Hyuga and one of their bodyguards named Sota Hyuga the Hawk. They should be branded immediately and placed into the branch family at once, one of the elders who rudely interrupted Hiashi. Agreed, the other elders said. You there bring the sealing ink at once, an elder said, giving an order to branch member. Absolutely not, Hiashi yelled out, silencing everyone and stopping the branch member before he left. What are you talking about, Hiashi? They are from our clan, they must be branded, the elder said. Yous will do no such thing. Sora and Sota are Saiyans and have came here under a banner of peace with the Hokage's blessing. If they leave with the cage bird seal on their heads, there will be consequences for our clan if we attempt to do so. Hiashi said with anger to make sure the point got across. What do you mean consequences? What we are trying to do is to protect our clan and the Byakugan from falling into our enemy's hands. Surely the Hokage understands this. An elder said. That may be true on any other day if the Hyuga in question were nomads wandering around any nations. However, these are not nomads, they are from the Hyuga clan who separated centuries ago to get away from our ways and have found land they can claim as their own in another nation. Therefore branding them will be seen as an hostile act that may lead to war with the nation of Sadala, a war that I'm afraid we cannot win. Hiashi said, knowing full well from the reports from both Minato's team that was sent over to find Naruto, who saw with their own eyes what happened during the night they were resting, and Tsunade team reporting how they trained their students to be actual shinobi. What do you mean a war we cannot win, Hiashi? One of the elders asked. What I am saying is that their forces are split into two divisions, one called the Warriors and the other Shinobis, and from our intel gathered by the Hokage himself and his team, who had one of our clansmen saw their warriors learning to control the giant ape with success, and from our reports from Lady Tsunade and her team it is a requirement to become a warrior, and considering their numbers are in the thousands. Well, do I need to paint a picture of what would happen if their forces were to arrive in retribution for what the village did because of our hands? Hiashi said as he saw some of their elders' faces morphing into fear at the thought that Hiashi was telling them. Good, it seems that you're beginning to understand the gravity of the situation, which is why the Hokage decided to inform me the moment they arrived so that I can inform and warn the U's lot before yous start a war, understand? Hiashi said as he several nods from the elders. I see some of yous understand the warning but others have not, so I make myself clear once again. If you attempt to brand them, I will personnel brand yous myself. Dismissed. Hiashi said with venom at the end of speech before leaving to resume his duties as the elders left to go their separate ways, all but a few of them. The three elders that remained looked at each other first, seeing if they were on the same thought, but waited till the courtyard was empty before discussing what was on their mind. We must brand them, the first said. Couldn't agree more, second said. After we've branded the two that are here, we can get them to bring the others here to be branded and make our clan whole as it should be, third said. Agreed, first and second said. Good, then I'll send a branch member to bring them over for tea while yous prepare the sealing ceremonial, third said, getting nods from the other two, unaware that someone in the shadows was watching them. Hotel. Sota and Sora were in the hallway of their rooms discussing matters with their clan in Konoha. What are the chances that several of the branded clansmen would ask us to remove their seal or ask us not to bring their children here? Sota asked. Chances are high on both of those questions, the first considering that the seal was designed to protect the Byakugan at first, but that pain-inducing part of the seal completely turned it into a form of obedience should they step out of line. As for the second, well, the first explains why they wouldn't they children coming over. Sora said, getting a nod from Sota, who felt a flicker of chakra but remained calm. The flicker of chakra appeared before them as one of their shinobis who was watching the Hyugas. Forgive the intrusion, but I have just witnessed a meeting with Konoha's clan head Hyuga, who informed his clan elders not to brand yous with seal. The shinobi said. And what was their response? Sora asked. At first they demanded that yous be branded in order to protect the Byakugan from their enemies, however Hiashi warned them the consequences if that should happen. I see, I take the elders didn't take the warning to heart, Sota asked. Only 3 of them are planning to brand yous behind Hiashi's back by inviting yous to tea, the shinobi said. Thank you for the warning, and please inform the general about the Hyugas inviting us for tea and entertainment. Sora said as she and Sota had a murderous grin on their faces as their battle lust rose within them. Chapter 12, Konoha. As the group from Sadala left the hotel to go sightseeing, they all agreed. They also agreed that if a branch member from the Hyuga clan were to invite Sora and Sota for meeting, they would let them go, and should the elders of that clan attempt to do something, then they would be the first to see what would happen if they got on Sadala's bad side. Alright then, let's go sightseeing, Mais said, getting nods from the group. If you want, we can go to the Uchiha district and see your overseas cousins, Naruto said. That sounds nice, and we got 2 days before the signing anyway. So please Naruto, can you show us the way? Mais said, getting a nod from Naruto, who began to lead the group. 10 minutes later. As the group made their way to the district, 2 people appeared in front of them. As the group looked at the individuals in front of them, they immediately recognized them from the Hyuga clan just from their eyes, but they also assumed they were from the branch side because of the headband they were wearing. Whoa, not even an hour, the group thought to themselves. Greetings, we are from the noble Hyuga clan. My name is Asahi and my friend here is Akira, the branch member said. Hello, my name is General Mais Uchiha, it's nice to meet you, Mais said politely. Nice to meet you, General. We have heard that there are 2 people in your group from the Hyuga and our elders would like to invite them over for some tea, Akira said, getting smiles from the group. That sounds lovely. My name is Sora Hyuga and this here is our bodyguard Sota Hyuga. General, if it's okay, may we leave to see our overseas cousin, Sora said, getting a nod from Sota. But of course you may have fun, you too, Mais said with a smile as Sora and Sota left with their escorts to the Hyuga compound. Alright everyone, you got your bets, Yusuko said, getting nods from everyone. Oh Naruto, do you know when your friends at the academy should be leaving to go home? Ikika said, getting a sad look from Naruto. They should be finishing for the day in about a half hour, Naruto said. Why the long face, Naruto? Ikika said. It's just that, what if they see me like a monster just like my sister? Naruto said, only for Ikika to knee before him. Naruto, yes, they know what you are, but they are also your friends. I know this because from our intel they were shocked and saddened that your family banished you from the village, and I'm sure they would be happy to see you. Ikika said, raising Naruto's spirits. Khalifa, Ikika go with Naruto, Mais said. Understood, General, Ikika said. Come on Naruto, I'm sure they will be happy to see you again, Khalifa said as she grabbed Naruto's hand only for someone to teleport in front of her, causing her and Naruto to teleport to some distance away from him and going into an offensive position, and several Sadala's shinobi to come out in reaction to the sudden intruder and several Anbu to appear next to the intruder as well. My apologizes for the scare. Hokage. What brings you here? Mai said as she looked at Minato with a smile. General, Minato said as he looked at Sadala's shinobi which numbered at 5. You know, in that letter that was sent to you it read that should bring 3 bodyguards and not a whole team of shinobi. Minato said with a smile that Mais caught and smiled back. But then again Lady Tsunade did warn you against someone, so I'll let it slide only if your team will corroborate with ours and help us with our security flaws. Minato said, very well then I'll agree, Mais said as she snapped her fingers and another team of Sadala's shinobi appeared beside her. Minato seeing another team of shinobi beside the general slapped himself at seeing it just how easily Sadala managed to get past Konoha's security. Seriously, how many times have your shinobi sneaked into Konoha? Minato asked. 2 maybe 3 times a week, though to be fair that was because of the ramen here is the best in any nation. One of Sadala's shinobi said causing Konoha's Anbu to mental slap themselves for being lazy. Seriously ramen, that's why you sneaked into Konoha, Minato said feeling embarrassed. And like I told Tsunade when she was at Sadala, we tried to get your clan's secrets but they were too heavily guarded to get, so we stopped trying. Mais said, well then it's good our clans are good at keeping their secrets secure. Dragon. Minato said as an Anbu appeared beside him wearing a brown hood and cloak with a dragon mask. Dragon here is in charge of Anbu and village security, Mais if you would be so kindly, Minato said. Very well, would the Jonin in charge of the teams come forward, Mais said getting one of her shinobi with a gold symbol on his mask to break formation and come forward to meet Dragon. I have been instructed by our general to reveal you how we are able to sneak into your village in hopes of bettering our relationship between our 2 nations. The Jonin Sadala said getting a nod from Dragon. Thank you for revealing the weakness in our security and if you would like we can share our security detail to make sure this treaty goes smoothly. Dragon said getting a nod from his counterpart. Oh would you look at that they're getting along so wonderfully, Mais said with a laugh but got sighs from everyone else. Is the general always like this? An Anbu said. She is, but you get used to it, Khalifa said. Anyway, we should be going to the academy and Khalifa it's in the opposite direction, Naruto said as he led Khalifa and Aikika in the right direction leaving the others to have chat. As soon as the 3 were out of earshot Minato's face changed to one of serious. General did you bring in any more shinobi with you? Minato asked. No just the 10 inches she said. Good to hear, Minato said with a smile. Then please let me be a tour guide for you in our wonderful village, Minato said wanting to keep an eye on his guests. I take it you got shadow clones in the office, Mais said getting a nod from Minato. Konoha's academy. As the bell rang signaling the end of day and parents waiting outside for their children, the doors opened unleashing a wave of children eager to leave to meet the parents, whose eyes were elsewhere as they Naruto and his guests. Again slightly creepy with everyone looking at us, Khalifa said. They're just curious, also keep an eye on your tails some of the younger kids here like to grab things, Naruto. They're young it's what they do, shouldn't be a problem if you done your training, right Khalifa, Aikika said. Yeah training, I totally done that training, Khalifa said looking a bit sheepish. Naruto, someone in the crowd shouted drawing his attention. Choji, it's good to see you, Naruto said as Choji ran up to him followed by Shikamaru and Ino. You're alive, Ino said as she grabbed Naruto and hugged him causing Naruto to realize that Aikika was right and that his friends in Konoha still cared for him. Good to see you Naruto, it's been over a year since we saw you after you were banished, Shikamaru said causing everyone there to feel saddened for a moment. Yeah it was a stupid plan my parents made up to protect me. The plan was to banish me and have Jiraiya take me somewhere safe to live out the rest of my days. Naruto said, wouldn't faking your death work far better, Ino said. That's what I said to my mom back in Sadala, Naruto said getting puzzled looks. It's the nation that rescued me once I was banished, Naruto said. Wait Sadala's a nation, how come we never heard it before till now, Choji said. Because we like our privacy, Khalifa said getting their attention. Hello Khalifa Uchiha from Sadala and Naruto's classmate and friend there, Khalifa said. Oh hello my name is Ino Yamanaka it's nice to meet you, Wait, did you say classmate? Ino said. Yeah, I enrolled at the Warriors Academy there for people like me, Naruto said. There's an academy that trains cursed people, Shikamaru said. Yes there is, also Sadala is a haven for cursed people, but we prefer to be called Saiyans, Aikika said as she stepped forward. Hello, my name is Aikika Hataki, officer of Sadala Warriors, Aikika introducing herself. Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Shikamaru Nara, Shikamaru said. Wait a moment, did you say you're an Uchiha? Ino said looking at Khalifa. Yep, during the clan wars our nation was formed to not only provide a safe haven for Saiyans but for anyone else wanting to get away from that, Aikika said. Who else do yous have? Ino said. We have the Hyugas, Uchihas, Senjus and Uzumakis, and they're just the major clans of our nations. There are some minor ones but there are too many to name. Sounds like our village only without the Uzumakis. Hello, my name is Choji Akamichi, it's nice to meet you, Choji said. You mention a warrior's academy, is that any different from our academy? Shikamaru said as he wanted to know if there was difference between warriors and shinobis. Yeah, FFFFFF. Before Naruto could explain he was tackled to the ground by Hinata. Naruto, you're okay. Sniff, you're okay, sniff, and you're back, Hinata said as she cried on top of Naruto, who was shocked at what just happened but smiled as he gently rubbed Hinata's head to calm her down, unaware that everyone was watching the scene. Now that's adorable, Aikika said with a smile. Damn, Naruto, didn't you were a player with ladies here, Khalifa said with a laugh as she tried to avoid looking at the happy scene. Hinata, hearing this, immediate stopped crying and stood up, leaving Naruto on the ground, but got back as well. Sor, Rai Abo, Ukth, Adnar. Uto, she said, embarrassed for what she did. She's stuttering again. I thought we solved that problem, Naruto thought to himself. Hinata, you're stuttering again, remember what we talked about when you stutter, Naruto said, getting Hinata to close her eyes and take a deep breath. Sorry Naruto, it's just that. Oh look, it's the disgrace. Hinata was interrupted and turned to look at who said that and saw Natsumi coming over. Hinata's face turned into anger at seeing her, so did Ino as well as Shikamaru and Choji, but only by a little. Sister, it's been a while, how are you doing? Naruto said, hoping that time has made her better. Much better since you left. Meet the fox after a training session a week later, but nothing changed. What are you and yous doing here? You know the law said about killing cursed people, right? Yous should be dead. Natsumi said, not caring that her words might start an incident. You really haven't changed much, have you, sister? Naruto said with sadness. Khalifa, seeing this and feeling a bit angry about what Natsumi said, walked up to her. Aikika, seeing this, kept an eye on her in case a fight were to break. That's rich coming from someone like you, Khalifa said with a smile. What do you mean someone like me? Natsumi said. What, aren't you cursed just like us, with a monster just begging to come out and destroy this village? Khalifa said. I'm a Jinchuriki, I'm nothing like yous, I serve the village, Natsumi said. No, you're wrong. See, we Saiyans only transform during a full moon and as long as we have our tails, so we're talking about a weekly thing we have to watch out for. Khalifa said, not realizing that she just blurted out the conditions for the great ape transformations. Wait, they need their tails to transform? Some of the adults were whispering to each other, some of whom were shinobi. But for you, you need to watch out, as every time you use your chakra you're drawing out the fox's chakra as well, and from the stories regarding him, he's cranky and doesn't like to be used. That's why every time you use his chakra he's sending you his anger, hoping for you to lose control and release him, so you have much more chances of becoming a monster than us Saiyans. Okay, what's going on? Normally Khalifa would have just punched her, not chatting with her. What's your game, Khalifa? Naruto thought to himself, and he wasn't alone, as Aikika was thinking the same thing as well. That may be true, but I know that when someone grabs your tail you lose all your strength. I've seen it with the disgrace dozens of times, Natsumi said with a smile as blurted out a weakness no one in the village knew about. Oh please Namikaze, that weakness can easily be removed when they train their tails like Naruto did, Hinata said as she looked at Natsumi, unaware that she was holding Naruto's hand when she said it. Give the Hyuga points, as she knows more about us Saiyans than you, Namikaze, Khalifa said. That may be true, but in the end it doesn't matter. Use cursed are weak with no powers and would lose to a minor nation in a day before the full moon comes out. Natsumi said with a smile, but got laughs from Naruto, Khalifa and Ikika, who couldn't control themselves. What's so funny? Natsumi shouted as she didn't like to be laughed at, only for Khalifa to teleport next to her and put her arm around her shoulder, surprising everyone who saw it. Listen here, Red, I'm on my best behavior here because I'm known for always throwing the first punch, so I'm going to say this: I hope this alliance goes through. I hope that in the future I get selected to come back here for the Chunin exams. I hope we meet during the exam, and I hope we get selected to fight each other, and when that happens I want you to throw everything you have at me, even the fox's chakra, cause after all that and after I break all your bones I want you to cry like a bitch, Khalifa said, as everyone was in shock except for Naruto and Ikika, who were surprised by what Khalifa just said. Is she normally like that? Ino said. Actually, this is her being tamed. She actually started a riot back in Sadala's shopping district for a pair of fighting gloves that was on offer, Naruto said. Ah, that was a good day, Khalifa said with a smile as she remembered what happened that day. Oh, I won't include a flashback for that, so just imagine what Khalifa might do, which shouldn't be too hard. As if that would happen, I was trained the moment I could walk by my parents, who taught me everything they know from ninjutsu to the sealing arts. I was even named the next clan head of the Uzumakis, and with the power of the fox there is no one whose chakra comes close to mine, Natsumi said, but got laughs from the Saiyans, which angered her. What is so funny? Natsumi shouted out. That you're the next clan head of the Uzumaki, Naruto said. I am the next clan head, and I dare anyone say otherwise, Natsumi shouted again. Then I dare say otherwise. Natsumi and several others turned around, and two Kushinas next to each other, but one looked older and had a scar on her cheek. Mom, who's that? Natsumi said. That is our aunt Natsumi Uzumaki, or Nat, and is the current clan head of the Uzumaki. That title was given to her by our uncle, the former clan head Menma Uzumaki, who and a dozen more of clansmen who sacrificed their lives to ensure our clan survived. Naruto said with pride. She can't be the clan head. Mother is the clan head and I'm the next clan head, Natsumi said, clearly not happy. I'm sorry, Natsumi, but what Naruto said is true. I am not the clan head and you're not in line for clan title either, Kushina said, hoping that her daughter would get the message and accept it. But you're the princess of Uzushio, we're royalty, Natsumi said, but got a sad look from her mother. Our father calls us his princess, as I'm sure any father does to their daughter, as a sign of love and not of royalty, Kushina said, getting nods from some of the parents around. And just because you're Jin. Just as Nat was talking, they heard an explosion coming from the village, causing everyone to look in its direction. That came from our compound, Hiyashi said as he was in the crowd, watched the scenes from Naruto meeting his friends to Hinata tackling him to the ground and Khalifa and Natsumi little, chat. Sounds like Sora and Soda are having fun, Ikika said. What do you mean? Why would they be? Those fools, I warned them, Hiyashi said as he instantly knew what was happening. Ikika Hitaki, officer of Sadala, please forgive my clan as I told them not to do anything to Sora and Soda, Hiyashi pleaded. Relax, Lord Hiyashi, from our intel in Naruto here we know you didn't order it. A couple of our shinobi came to us not before and our warning is that 3 of your elders disobeyed your orders and invited our friends over under an impression of getting to know each, but its true reason was to brand them, and don't worry, our friends won't kill them, they just hurt them a bit for fun, Ikika said, getting a sigh of relief from Hiyashi and a puzzled look from him. We Saiyans, Lord Hiyashi, have a hunger for a fight, and just because the Hyugas back home don't use the gentle fist doesn't mean they're much slower than yours, Ikika said, letting Hiyashi piece together what was forming. That means that our clansmen are losing the fight, Hinata said. Yes it is, Soda and Sora are from the Hyugas and Saiyans from that clan do have better reflexes as their clansmen do help in their training, Ikika said. I suppose that does make sense, but for now I must head back immediately, Hiyashi said as he ran back home with Hinata, unaware that Ikika, Khalifa and Naruto were following behind him, eager to see the fight. Chapter 13. An explosion could heard across Konoha from the Hyuga compound, drawing attention from everyone who heard it. Lord Hiyashi was running back home to see what the elders did after hearing that they went behind his back and invited the Hyugas from Sadala to come over for tea, which was an excuse to seal them with the cage bird seal and place them into the branch family against their will. As Lord Hiyashi reached the main entrance to the compound, which is closed as only those of the Hyuga clan may enter, he saw Minato teleport on the other side of him with the remaining members of Sadala's delegation and a team of several Anbus, some of which had an unknown symbol he didn't recognize, as well as the Uchiha police who arrived as well, including Fugaku himself. Hokage, I take it you heard the explosion as well, Hiyashi said with fear as his clan was responsible for what started the explosion. Yes, all of Konoha heard it, and General Mais here told me that your elders went behind your back, Minato said with anger. Please Hokage, I beg. Several smaller explosions could heard from inside the compound and some laughter that as well. Sounds like Sora is having fun in there, Mais said with a smile, but got an angry look from Minato. Just before Mais could say something, Naruto's group along with Hinata, Kushina and Nat arrived, so did the rest of Naruto friends. What are yous doing here? This is... Minato didn't get a chance to finish that sentence as the heavy doors to the compound flew wide open with such force that they broke off its hinges, and along with 3 Hyugas who came along with it landed several feet away from the group. As the group saw the Hyugas unconscious, they saw a figure walking where the gate was. And that makes 16, to me, Sora said with a smile. Did she just say 16 inches, Minato? Hiyashi said in shock. Hi Soda, what's your count? Sora shouted out. 17 and counting, was the response everyone heard as they saw him coming out with a Hyuga in each hand. They sure are persistent, I'll give them that. Oh Hokage, General, sorry for the noise, Soda said as he bowed lightly. General, stop this at once, Minato shouted, but felt an immense power coming from Mais, who didn't like his tone of voice. Please, General, Minato said as he backed up. Soda, Sora, that's enough fun for the day, she said, and got a salute from the pair as Hiyashi inspected what was left of the compound. Several buildings had scorch marks, walls had collapsed with a bleeding Hyuga coming out of them, gardens with flowers were burning lightly as servants rushed to put them out. Dozens of Hyuga could be seen with arms that looked like they were either broken or dislocated, and dozen more trying to stand up but failing. Hiyashi was shocked at seeing what his eyes were telling him as he looked at the 2 Saiyans who looked like they could go again. Yous 2 did all this, took out 33 highly trained clansmen like is was nothing, Hiyashi said with fear. Nothing you say. Several of them did work together and managed to land some blows on us, I can assure you, and thanks to our training we managed to prevent any serious injury to them despite what you are seeing. Soda said as bowed politely. But then again, those numbers would have been much less if the others didn't get involved, but then those 3 elders that invited us here threatened them with the seal if they didn't subdue us, so we had little choice but to defend ourselves. Sora said as she straightened out her clothes and hair. As she did this, another Hyuga without a headband showing he was from the main branch came rushing towards her. I won't let yous get away, yous belong to us now. 8 trigrams. 32 palms, the Hyuga shouted, not realizing he just said it in front of not only the current clan head Hiyashi but also the Hokage, the entire delegation from Sadala, and several dozens or so people. 2, 4, 6, he shouted as he attacked Sora, who dodged the attacks with her eyes focused solely on the Hyuga. 8, 10, 12, he continued but kept missing as Sora kept dodging his attacks as she formed a smile on her face at seeing something in the attacks. 14, SIXTEE, AARRRGGG, he stopped his 16th strike as Sora with a smile launched a counter punch straight into his stomach, shocking everyone who saw it. My turn, Hyuga fool, she said as she left kicked him, sending him straight to Hiyashi, but teleported and kicked him towards Minato, but teleported again and kicked him straight into the air before meeting him and delivering a final kick sending straight back into the compound. All this happened in a span of a few seconds, leaving everyone but the people from Sadala breathless. She interrupted his 8 trigrams, how did you do that? Hiyashi said with shock as he thought the Hyuga's clan techniques couldn't be beaten but was proven otherwise. Simple really, Naruto said, getting everyone's attention as Sora landed graceful back on the ground. Please explain for them, Naruto dear, as I catch my breath, Sora said with a peaceful smile. She saw a flaw in his technique, as did I, that she exploited, Naruto said. Wait, Naruto, you saw those attacks, Khalifa said. Yeah, I just slightly increased my power to keep up is all. Why didn't you? Naruto said, but got a sheepish look from Khalifa showing that she didn't do that, and as a reward she got a bonk to her head from Ikika. Ouch, what's that for? Khalifa said. You were too caught up in the moment to pay attention to what was going on. Even I saw the flaw in that fool's technique, as did everyone else in our group. Ikika said as several more main branch Hyuga came out looking for a fight but stopped when they saw who was waiting for them. Lord Hiashi, Lord Hokage, thank Kami you or these people attacked us for no reason, we need to stop them immediately. One of them said, but saw it fall on deaf ears at the angry look from their faces. Try harder, fool, and maybe I'll believe you, Hiashi said as calmly walked towards Sora and Sota and got on his hands and knees and begged to them. Please, I ask you for forgiveness for our branch family, as they don't have a choice in the matter. I also ask that you forgive my clan for the actions of some rogue elements, as I take full responsibility for their actions. Hiashi said. Lord Hiashi, please get up, Sora said, getting Hiashi attention as he saw her hand in front of him. We will not punish our branch cousins for the actions of some rogue elders who went behind your back and tried to brand us, Sora said as she helped Hiashi to his feet. As for punishment for the rogue elders in your clan and those who follow them freely, I let the punishment be up to you and the Hokage, as their actions not only reflect your clan but also Konoha as well. Sora said. Thank you for your mercy, my overseas cousin, Hiashi said politely. In the meantime, Lord Hiashi, Hokage, the Uchiha police force will run an investigation in the manor and find out who else was involved, Fugaku said as he stepped forward just as several medic teams arrived led by Suand, who was shocked at the state of the Hyuga compound. What the hell happened here? Medics, get to the INJURIED now, Tsunade commanded. I warned the elders of my clan to leave delegation alone to avoid any incidents, but it seems someone or people went behind my back and attempted to brand Sora and Sota Hyuga with our seal, Hiashi said with both shame and anger. Do you have any idea on which elder or elders it might be? Fugaku said as he stepped forward. I may know someone, but whether or not he acted alone is another thing, Hiashi said as an unknown Anbu stepped towards him. It was 3 of your elders who went behind your back, she said. How do you know this? Wait, that symbol, you're from Sadala, Hiashi said, getting a nod from her. My orders for my team and me were to watch you and the elders should anything that might cause a hindrance to the alliance that is to take place soon, and I saw the meeting you had with your elders earlier today, she said. That's not possible, our Byakugan would have detected you if you were in our compound, Hiashi said with shock. Not true, Mai said as she stepped forward. Thanks to our sealing masters and our own Hyugas, we managed to create some seals for our Anbu that prevents even the Byakugan from detecting them, Mai said with a smile. That's not possible, one of the main branch said with anger. The Byakugan sees all, said another one. And how is it possible that your Hyugas have the Byakugan when they don't have any of our techniques, said another. Enough, you foolish fools, an elderly lady with piercing white eyes said as she walked calmly from the compound. You think they need our techniques to awaken their eyes, then you are fools. Our eyes awaken from training, not techniques, she said with anger before taking a deep breath. This has been the Hyuga incident all over again, only this time we are the cause and not the victims. She takes a heavy sigh, and I thank you, Lady Sora and your bodyguard, for not doing any serious harm to our foolish boys and for your mercy for our branch family. She said. No, there's no need for that, it's we who should apologize for the property damage we did during the fighting, Sora said as they turned their heads around and saw one of the roof fall down. Still think we're powerless, Red, Khalifa said as she turned to look at Natsumi, who looked a bit shocked from what she saw. So you have powers, it still won't make a difference, and besides you still need a full moon to transform, and by the time that happens you nation would still lose in a war with a minor nation or any nation, Natsumi said, but got laughs from the delegation. You think we need the moon to transform? That is laughable, Mai said as she raised her hand and produced a small white orb in her hand. Naruto and Khalifa, seeing the orb, instantly turned away from it, causing confusion to everyone to look away. Naruto, are you okay? Kushina said with worry. If me and Khalifa were to look at that orb right now, we'll transform right here right now, Naruto said, getting a nod from Khalifa. Wait, are you telling me that? Tsunade stopped as she didn't what to say what was going on in her head. Why yes Lady Tsunade, this orb mimics the exact brightness of the moon so much so that if any Saiyans with a tail were to look at it they turn into a giant ape. Mais said, getting looks of pure fear from everyone as she dispersed the orb in her hand as she began to think on what to do next. Should not have done that. Maybe it was a mistake to arrange an alliance in Konoha. No, it was a mistake, the Hyugas proved it, and if not them, who else? It might be better to do it back home, at least then there would no problems. Mais thought herself as she looked around and saw the faces of fear in people around her. Everyone head back to the hotel and gather you things, we're heading home. Hokage, I'm sorry but I'll have to postpone the alliance and hopeful get it arranged at a later time and location, Mais said, shocking everyone. Wait General, if this has anything to do with what just happened then please reconsider, Minato said, hoping to salvage the situation. Hokage, as much as I would like to continue with this alliance, I'm afraid our presence will just cause more problems that you and your clan heads have no control over, with the Hyugas being an example, and I'm more worried about that extremist Danzo and his root army who only obey him and only him. Mais said, shocking Minato about root. Don't worry, Sadala still wants an alliance, it's just that I think it would best held in our nation instead, Mais said as she and her group began walking back to their hotel, except Naruto, who began to look sad. Well guys, it was nice to see yous again, hopefully we'll meet again, Naruto as he turned to meet Hinata, who was saddened by what just happened. Hinata, don't worry, it's not a goodbye, it's a farewell for now, we'll meet each other again someday, Naruto said with a smile as he gave Hinata a farewell hug before leaving. As soon as we are home I'll have Satsuki throw your kunai to pick her up, Mais said before turning to her shinobi. Make sure Nat here arrives home safely, Mais said, getting a nod from her shinobi. 2 hours later at the hotel. As the group left the hotel with their 2 squads of Anbu to protect them, they saw Minato outside with Konoha's elders. General, please reconsider staying. I know things didn't go so well at first, but please don't let rogue elements ruin this, Minato said. Hokage, I'm sorry but there have been mistakes on both sides, one you couldn't control and another from us, Mais said as she lowered her head. We should have just refused the offer when that Hyuga came over, but didn't we accept it as way to show that we will not bow before anyone, and again when I showed everyone the moon orb and got looks of fear from everyone, it was a mistake on my end. Another mistake was bringing Naruto and my daughter along with me. Mais said, getting looks of confusion from Naruto, Khalifa, Minato and the elders. Naruto and Khalifa have not been trained to control the great ape, and the moment I showed everyone the moon orb I put not only their lives at risk but also your village. It was foolish on my end. Mais said as she raised her head. My Anbu will leaving Konoha with Nat. Anyone who interrupts their trip back home will be dealt with lethal force just in case Danzo tries anything, Mais said with serious. Why did you mention Danzo like if he would do something against this village, Homura said. Because Danzo sent a team of his to Uzushio near the end of the last war and killed several of our clansmen just to get his hands on our sealing techniques. Nat said, getting shocks from Minato and the elders. Why didn't Danzo tell us that? Koharu said. Because Danzo considers the Hokage a fool at the time and doesn't care about Konoha's allies. We know that because we interrogated one of his men before killing. The only thing he cares about is making sure that Konoha is at the top and everyone else at the bottom, and I'm sure he will try something to bring Sadala down. And before you ask why, just remember Sadala's a far bigger nation than yours and has more firepower than all the nation's Jinchurikis combined. Nat said, be careful what you say, Uzumaki. Everyone turned their heads around and saw Danzo walking towards them. At last the war hawk and war criminal Danzo Shimura himself, Mais said, not getting anything from Danzo. Oh, what proof do you have that I'm a war criminal, General Uchiha? Danzo said. Our intel says you're still in contact with Orochimaru, as well the incident involving a group called the Akatsuki who wanted peace with Hanzo the Salamander, and thanks to your intervention that nearly got them killed, they are now a criminal organization made up of S-class criminals. Mais said, getting a shock from Danzo, Minato and the elders. How do you know this? Danzo said as Minato drew out his kunai. You really are a stupid cryptic old man, are you? Every nation has their intelligence work and Sadala's is no different. Mais said as she turned to look at Minato. Thank you for the time we've spent here, but we must be leaving. I'll send a letter to your daimyo and inform him of an appropriate time and location for the ceremony. Mais said as she and the Saiyans in the group began to float upwards. Nat, safe journeys. If you need help you know what to do, Mais said as flew away towards the ocean after getting a nod from Nat, who left with protection detail. Nat, wait, Minato said. Don't even bother, Minato. I'm on Sadala's side of this and the general is right. The ceremony should held over there as no one would try to put a seal on you and no one would throw insults at us like your daughter. Nat said as she left, leaving Minato and the elders. Well, this has been a nice day, hasn't it? Koharu said sarcastically as Danzo left to go back in his hole. Well, nearly. And where do you think you're going, Danzo? Minato said with anger. Chapter 14, Konoha, Council Chambers. Day after the incident. Well, yesterday was a fine day for the village and our visitors, who enjoyed their stay so much that they left after a few hours since they arrived, and before they could sign the treaty, and their forces they brought with them only told us about half the ways they managed to enter Konoha without us knowing. Sigh, just a fine day. Minato said sarcastically as he was not in a good mood. After the delegation left, everyone was fuming at the Hyuga. Minato ordered a complete investigation into the incident to find out what went wrong. After a few hours with Ibiki and Anko, the elders who were responsible were found and were kept in a holding cell before a sentence could be imposed on them for starting an international incident. The elders claimed that what they did was nothing wrong, as they were protecting the Byakugan and making sure the clan was whole by forcing their overseas cousins into the branch family, and kept saying it was a clan matter that Konoha had no saying at all. Lord Hokage, please accept my clan's utmost apology for what happened yesterday, as we accept all the blame. Hiyashi said as he got up from seat and walked towards Minato and bowed before him. Hiyashi, the incident was caused by some rogue elders, and while yes, your clan did physically assault them, some of the blame also goes to me as well. Minato said, getting some looks from the council. My daughter was seen and heard throwing insults at the group as well, a failure on my part as a father. So please go back to your seat as we try to figure a way out of this mess. Minato said as Hiyashi nodded and went to back his seat. Fugaku, how's Makoto doing since I brought her back? Minato said. Sad at first, but when I told her what happened she became angry at the Hyugas. Sorry, Lord Hiyashi, Fugaku said. There's no need for that, Lord Fugaku, for my clan and myself deserve the anger directed towards us for what I failed to do. Many people were hoping this alliance to go through so that they can see their family return to them. At least most people, as I just found out that not a single person from my clan wanted their children to brought here in fear of our practices, Hiyashi said as he looked down in shame. I'm afraid that's not the worst, my friend, Minato said as Hiyashi looked at him. The fire daimyo is coming over to not only pass judgment on your clan but to take over the arrangements for the alliance, Minato said as he saw Hiyashi look further down. In the meantime, the only thing we can do is go over the witness accounts of our guests' abilities that we just saw yesterday, as this is the first time seeing what they can do. Minato said, getting nods from the council as Shikaku stood up. From our reports and several eyewitnesses we can confirm that they can fly, teleport, reflexes that puts them on the same level as the Hyuga. They also have incredible speed and strength, and that they can shoot destructive beams of light from their hands, and if what they claim is true then they can launch a ball of light that mimics that brightness of the moon, allowing them to transform during the day. Sigh, this is getting troublesome by the minute. Shikaku said as he sat back down. Are we sure this report is accurate? Danzo said. By got a heavy dose of killing intent from Minato. Be silent, Danzo. Your friends might be able to protect you from facing justice for what you did, but from now on your root is hereby disbanded, and if I hear anything that involves a slither of your name or your root, I will forget the judge and trail and go straight to the executioner. Do I make myself clear? Minato said, but got nothing from Danzo, which angered him greatly. Do I make myself clear? Minato shouted. Yes, Lord Hokage, Danzo said with gritted teeth. Lady Tsunade, how are the injured doing? Minato said, looking at the Senju. Some bumps, bruises and a few broken bones and scorch marks. Our guests really did hold back, Minato, Tsunade said. And what about the damage to your compound, Hiyashi? How bad was it? Minato said. 3 of our small apartments are needed to be completely repaired due to the Saiyans throwing our clansmen around like they were nothing. Our main building was hit by their destructive light, but from my clansmen it seems they can control just how destructive their light can be, as the main building just needs some paint. Other than some trees that was blown apart, the damage was quite small when compared to the Fox rampage a decade ago. Hiyashi said, all that damage just from 2 Saiyans who holding back. Sai, I'm pretty sure the compound would have been completely destroyed if they used their full strength. Hiyashi said, agreed. That is why we need this alliance to go through, and time is not on our side. Yesterday my son Naruto asked me to arrange a meeting with Sadala and Iwa. Minato said, getting puzzled looks from the council. Onoki, the Tsuchikage granddaughter, has a twin sister who was put to death the moment she was born. Minato said as he stopped, as he let everyone know what he was going to say next. I see. She was born a Saiyan, and that would mean that she is in Sadala, and with us being the mediator between the 2 countries, Onoki would thank us for not only telling him his granddaughter is alive but also arrange a meeting with her which would allow Konoha to get on Iwa's good side for a change. Koharu said, getting an agreeing nod from Minato and a scoff from Danzo. If we are going to arrange this meeting, then first this alliance must settled and the fire daimyo must be informed so that there can be no more incidents. Homura said, getting nods from the council. Is there anything else that needs to be discussed? Minato said, but got nods of no. Then council dismissed. Sadala, council chambers. Well, yesterday was a fine day for some, Mais said as she sat down. What happened? Yuko said. The day went fine at first, but after we checked into the hotel, one of Shinobi's informed us that some rogue Hyuga elders were planning to put the seal on Sota and Sora. 10 minutes after we left the hotel, the Hyugas invited the 2 over for some tea. An hour or so later their compound became a battleground when they attempted to put a seal on them, Mais said. Sounds like Sora had some fun, Hina said. Both of them did have fun while holding back. They even managed to get one of those foolish Hyuga to say that they belong to them before launching what is it they call it, 8 triangle, or something. 8 trigram general, Hina corrected the general. That was it, but the attack was sloppy that Sora turned him into a pinball after a punch to his stomach halfway through his attack, Mais said. Was Sora harmed by him? Hina said with worry, but got a laugh from Mais. Relax, Hina. Sora was taught well by your clan, as neither she or Sota was harmed by them, Mais said, getting a sigh of relief from Hina. After that fight, the Hokage's daughter who was there to see what was going on, and from what Naruto and my daughter told me about her, she insulted weakly, mind you, that we Saiyans are weak and need the full moon to become great apes, and well. Mais said, looking a bit sheepishly. What did you do? Yuko said. I may have shown them the moon emitter technique, Mais said, getting some sighs from the council. Why did you shown them that? Wait, let me guess, you shown them that to prove that we don't need the moons, didn't you? Yoshido said, getting a nod from Mais. Heavy sigh. It doesn't matter. Did you at least keep quiet about the transformation techniques? Yoshido said. Of course, and Khalifa doesn't know about it, and Naruto is smart enough to keep things to himself, so we're safe on that front, Mais said. As I shown them the moon emitter, I saw the look of fear in the people around us and realized the mistake I did in showing them, so I decided to come back home, but not before telling the Hokage that Danzo was a war criminal. After Nat and I revealed that he was still in contact with Orochimaru, the Akatsuki incident and what he attempted to get his hands on during the last war, and that there was a chance that he would do something. Mais said, getting nods from the council. Good thinking on revealing Danzo crimes that would surely cause him to lose support with Konoha and would most likely have his root taken from him. Where do we go from here about the alliance? Hina said. I told the Hokage that we would send a letter to the fire daimyo to let him know the time and location for the ceremony, but I would prefer that Nat be here first before I send any letter, Mais said, getting nods from the council. A few days later, Konoha, council chambers. The day had finally arrived for the Hyuga clan, which felt like months for Hiyashi as he stood in front of the fire daimyo waiting for judgment for what his clan did or attempted to do to the delegation from Sadala. During the days the Hyuga clan felt the eyes of hatred bearing down on them for nearly starting a war with another nation, all because of their traditions. For the Uchihas, ever since the Sadala revealed themselves to the world and that they were wanting an alliance with Konoha, and the chance that their children that they thought were dead were alive and well, and that there was a chance that they could be reunited with them, caused them to rethink on the revolt within Konoha, as the revolt would stop any chances of getting their children back. After the incident with the Hyugas, the Uchiha felt tensions within the village dropped greatly after the investigation into the incident revealed it was done by rogue elders of the Hyuga clan. In the chambers the daimyo sat where Minato would normally seat and is standing to the right of him while Hiashi is standing in the center of the room. Lord Hiashi, clanhead of the Hyuga clan, daimyo said, getting a silent nod from Hiashi. I take it that I don't need to inform you why I am passing judgment on your clan for their rogue actions, daimyo said. No, Lord Daimyo, there is no need to inform me on what transpired, and I happily accept whatever punishments my clan deserve, Hiashi. Very well, then let us proceed, daimyo said before taking a deep breath. Based on the evidence from Uchiha police force and my own investigators who reviewed the evidence, which showed that the Hokage did send someone over to inform you that the delegation from Sadala had not only arrived but that 2 of them were from their own Hyuga clan, which split off from yours a century ago, correct? Daimyo said, getting a nod from Hiashi. And what did you do when you were informed by the Hokage? Daimyo said. I arranged a meeting with my clan elders immediately to inform them that the group from Sadala had arrived and that 2 of them were from the Hyuga clan. I also warned them that we would not place the caged bird seal on them as it would cause an international incident and would most likely lead to war with them. I also warned them that if they would attempt to place the seal, then I would personally place the seal on them. Hiashi said, getting a nod from the daimyo. And despite you warning them, they went behind your back and attempted to do so, but were met with. Daimyo, looking through the papers and pictures of the scene, looks like a battle went down, and this was caused by just the 2 of them. Daimyo said, getting nods from the council. Well, it looks like they went easy on you, he said, getting nods from the council. Well then, Lord Hiashi, I believe the appropriate punishment would be that today would be the last time the seal that your clan used, daimyo said, getting a puzzled look from Hiashi. What do you mean, daimyo? Hiashi said. What I mean is that you would place the seal on those who were involved in causing the incident and remove the seal from the rest of your clan except for those mentioned previously, as after today the seal would never again be used. Daimyo said, getting a look of shock from Hiashi. Forgive me for asking, daimyo, but why? Hiashi said. It has come to my attention that while the seal did act on protecting the Byakugan, however, it would seem that only the branch family of your clan were the ones who would be getting the seal and not the main family, and the pain infliction part of the seal has turned it into a slave seal instead, which is forbidden in this nation. Do I make myself clear? Daimyo said. Yes, daimyo, but there is only one problem, Hiashi said, looking down. And what is that? Daimyo said. We don't know how to remove it, Hiashi said. What do you mean you don't know how to remove it? Daimyo said, not liking the answer he was going to get. We never designed it to be removed. Once it was placed, it would remain till the person dies, Hiashi said. So you did make a slave seal after all and used it solely on the branch family, Daimyo said, getting silence from Hiashi. Seriously? They made a seal that they couldn't remove. Then again, it was designed to keep their Byakugan away from enemies' hands, but I can't just let them keep using it except for those who caused the incident. Hokage, is there any way to remove the seal? Daimyo said, looking at Minato. I would need to see the design before I can give an answer, my lord, Minato said. There is no need for an answer. The seal after today shall never be used again, and the seals on the branch family is to be removed, and if you can't find a way, Hokage, then maybe Sadala can find one. Daimyo said. Yes, Fire Daimyo, I understand. Good, it looks like the Fire Daimyo really wants this alliance. Minato said and thought to himself. In the meantime, Lord Hokage, please send over any detail regarding Sadala so that I may prepare myself when they send over the date and location for ceremony. Daimyo said. My lord, are you intending to go over to Sadala? One of his attendants said. Why, of course. After what happened in Konoha, I don't think the fire capital would be a good place either, and besides, it would be nice to go to somewhere new for a change. Daimyo said as he stood up to leave the room. After the left, everyone took a deep breath as Minato walked over to Hiashi and placed his hand on his shoulder. You okay, Hiashi? Minato said, getting a smile from Hiashi. Yes, I'm just relieved that it's over and that accursed seal is going away forever, Hiashi said. Who would have thought it was going to happen in our lifetime? Minato said with a chuckle. True. I'll send someone over with the scroll so that you can figure out how to remove it, Hiashi said. I'll let Kushina and her sister Nat figure out how to remove it. It would help bolster relationship without nations after all, and in the meanwhile you can train the branch family the main family techniques. Minato said. What branch family? After today there is only one family, Hiyashi said with a smile. Thank you for watching guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in next video.